All right, I want to take a look right now at something that was covered at the World Economic Forum, and they had some things that they were talking about disease X. So they're basically calling whatever the next pandemic is, they're calling it disease X, and they were talking about different ways that they could prepare for it or whatever. Now, what I'm looking at here, my real question um, is it already a thing? Like, did they fucking make it? You know, which the, I mean, I have ideas about that already, but let's just see what the cards have to say. What they have already branded disease X. Okay, so down here, the root card is a reverse Six of Wands, and the Six of Wands is showing recognition. Now, the Six of Wands reversed is a lack of recognition. So, this would tell me that there probably has been a bunch of work done to create this thing, but it just hasn't been publicly recognized. And the Page of Pentacles is essentially a student. Um, so to me, this would also say that it's something that they're working on. They're learning about it, right? So in that they're creating it, but they're learning about it, and as they develop the freaking thing, and then it will eventually be unleashed. But let's just see what's on either side of this Page of Pentacles. A Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so to me, the Queen of Pentacles showing up over here, because this is a family thing, it's probably a new strain of COVID. Um, there's the Queen that had already been established. One would assume that that's talking about COVID. And here the page would be like some new offshoot of it or something that is from the same family. So I guess it would be a coronavirus or whatever. Now, on the other side of it, we have a Three of Cups. So the Three of Cups is showing some people who are tied together by this common trial, and they eventually emerge victorious. Like they get swallowed by the fish and they come out um, by working together. This experience ties them, gives them a common bond, right? I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here. I'm going to pull another card on this three just to see what the heck we're looking at. And it's a Seven of Swords. Okay, well, that is still not particularly clear to me. So let's backtrack here. Now the six of wands, showing a thing that is probably there and just not being recognized. Then we've got the queen and the page of pentacles. So this is from the same family. And maybe this is showing that there's a bunch of different like organizations or something that are working on it. And then the Seven of Swords would be pressure, like they're being pressured to work on it. Now, with this, I'm just going to collect these and let's start asking more specific questions because I'm pretty sure this is saying that, yes, it is something that is being developed. And what they're talking about, what they were already talking about publicly at the World Economic Forum, is that they were trying to create vaccines for disease X. And disease X is supposedly something that doesn't exist yet. So, how can you make a vaccine for something that doesn't even exist? Um, and that was public, right? So they do that by fucking basically creating the disease. Now, um, I just want to look at the impact of this, like the potential disruption, or like how potent is this thing. So we get a major arcana card, and it's the star. The card on the bottom is the Seven of Cups. So, okay, so the Seven of Cups would essentially show that that's something that they would kind of get to create, like they would get to determine how potent it is. Um, and the Star, I mean, as a major arcana card, that would be a big magnification. The Star is theoretically about purification. So let's just see what's on either side of this, because if there's a disease that runs through the world and works as a purification, that might mean that it kills most of the people, right? So let's just see what we got on either side. Interesting. So we get the death card reversed leading up to this. So this again is a kind of another sign that we're looking at a coronavirus. But the death card here, the old thing is basically sacrificed to make room for the new baby. And when this gets turned upside down, the old thing forces its way back in. So again, I think this is talking about another coronavirus or another strain of it or some shit like that. And then we get the reversed Three of Wands. Now, both of these cards show pregnancy. And that might be the thing that is actually affected by this disease or by whatever fucking vaccine they make, to counteract the disease that they also made. But here we've got a pregnancy in the death card, and we also have here's the pregnancy, the umbilical cord, and here's the long, slow growth, right? But both of these things being upside down would to me say that this might affect fertility. Um, Now, if we look at it as far as the world goes, then this might be like an inability to grow things, like growing crops or something. And fucking who knows, like maybe somehow the disease could affect that kind of stuff. But just these two pregnancy cards here, I think that it would probably affect birth rates or something like that, you know? Okay, now I'm just going to see, like, what is the goal with this? And maybe the goal is just everyone being okay. But as they are working on creating the vaccine for the disease that doesn't exist, which also means they are creating the disease, let's just see what the overarching goal is of it. Fascinating. This is two exact opposites. And here, the root card, wow, is the Four of Wands. Now, look at this. So, in the Four of Wands, these two different energies are putting their own shit aside to make this shared commitment to a happy, harmonious home. This is making a commitment to peace and stability. Now, these two energies are shown as the devil and temperance. They're pretty much exact opposites. The devil is obsession and possession. And the temperance card is about patience and understanding and wisdom and all of this, right? Now, here, like the overarching goal would kind of be to blend these two different things together. It would be two opposite energies. I'm going to pull one more on this because there's a lot of different ways I could interpret these two different energies being blended, but let's just see what realm we're fucking looking at when we see these two opposing energies. And the Ten of Swords would show, it's interesting. I'm going to put the Hermit here was on the bottom. These are actually pretty much the same figure. We've got the naked figure here and the naked figure here. but the Ten of Swords is suffering, and the Hermit is isolation. There's a lot of positive that comes with the Hermit because the Hermit is about remembering who you are. But when I see these together, this is probably more lockdown shit. And this would also maybe show two different forms of fucking suffering that get combined together. So, all right, I guess now the logical thing to do is to put a timeline on this because it honestly looks very fucking similar to COVID. It looks like the response and everything is pretty much going to be the same. So let's just look at a timeline. And we get the King of Pentacles, and two fell out into my lap, and they're both aces. Now, the King of Pentacles means that there is no specific timeline, but the King of Pentacles is the businessman, so it would really say whenever it makes the most business sense to do it. And peeking out on the bottom, once again, we have this Ten of Swords, which is the suffering. So this is going to be a business deal. And we've got an Ace of Pentacles on one side, which is kind of the source of that sort of business energy. It's taking your potential and bringing it into the world. And on the other side, we do have a baby. But this is essentially the root of inspiration and creativity. So we've got these two new things and the businessman in between. So I guess it would probably happen when there are these two new emerging fucking businesses or something like that. And the King of Pentacles would see that it's the time that they could make the most money or gain the most control or what have you. So I'm just going to pull one more card to see the likelihood on this coinciding with an election. I'm thinking about the United States 2024 election, but let's just see if they have anything to do with each other. And the Seven of Pentacles, it's the witch practicing witchcraft. This wouldn't be a strong yes or no as far as that goes. So it would be more about when it would make the greatest business sense. So I guess that's what we get for now. I would love to hear what you think about this. And if you do have a question that you would like me to look at, then feel free to hit up my Patreon page. And for as little as $5, I will do your reading requests. That's what we have, and peace. Is this the end of days where lava filled the base? I'm gonna grab some tarot cards, let's see what they say. Who controls the press? Was Will Smith possessed? Let's shuffle up the cards and we'll see. And what about the freaking aliens? Whatever could they be? Let's ask the cards and see. Come on to my Patreon. It's only $5.